Hi, welcome to Guyver Gaming TV, and you can see we are back in Naval Action Alpha. So I started recording this last night because you saw from the lister it was a pretty big match. It's one of the biggest fights I've been in so far, and it wasn't even a Trafalgar fight, which is apparently pretty big, but that's with all the large ships. So as you see, I figured out a few new skills. Spacebar will fire one cannon, and then if you hit shift, left shift in this case, it will bring up the spyglass. So now my tactic is to fire off one shot, see where it lands, try and get a shot on target, and then as soon as I get a shot on target, I'll let the whole side go. So you're looking usually around, this new ship is 8 cannons, so you're looking around 7 to 8 rounds on target if my first one hits correctly. As you see, the enemy has a lot of boats. Now this fight took an hour to go. I think, if I remember rightly, it ran down to the limit. So, you know, the 58 minutes, it was a long ass fight, and we still didn't kill everybody. I think we had 2 boats or 3 boats left, which I was one, and I think they had maybe 1 or 2 left as well. But it was a hell of a fight. There were some people at the beginning here, it's a bit of a clusterfuck because everybody's trying to fire, they're not paying attention where they go in. I think I tapped in a couple of times, you know, to spread out, slow down and get a line going and whatnot, but everybody's frigging concentrating on where the enemy boats are going, so they're not really paying attention. You see, I'm trying to look around there just to show the scale of how many boats there are. There's a lot of large ships. I'm in a brig at the minute, which is, you know, like a middle-ish ship. What I'm up to now, something like 5,000 or 6,000 damage away from getting the next one, which is the Snow, I think it is. Now this guy on the right hand side here argued with me for about 5 minutes, saying he was nowhere near me. It was like 4 boat lengths away, and I said when I typed it, you were 5 feet away from ramming into me. And watch, look at that. He sees me right at the last minute and then turns. And then the cheeky git argues as I type it in there. Oh, it was miles away, blah blah blah. And while he's arguing with me because he's not paying attention, he rams into one of the larger boats in front. He's going way too fast to be in this group, like. And I think he eventually gets his ass handed to him anyways. But he starts spouting off saying false alarm, blah 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 blah. And I winced at him going, when I typed it, you were 5 feet away from me. So as you see, I'm ignoring the battle now and I'm trying to get into a decent position here. But because everybody's slowing down, speeding up, stopping and fanning about, you get a lot of people ramming into each other, and you see that guy in a little boat just careening straight into the large one there. This is when he starts whinging about false alarms and whatnot. So it's video proof there. If he wants it, he can have it. He shut up when I actually mentioned that and recorded it. So, you know, that's in the odd fight you do get a guy on one of the large ships, you know, taking command, saying go this head in this speed, blah blah blah, which is what you really need when you've got this many people in the fight. But there's too many trying to shoot and not pay attention to what's going on. I can hear the bell ringing there, so I'm assuming someone's coming at me, so I've got to check. Looking at me. But for the first part of this battle, I mainly just look around, pay attention to what's going on, and you see the little idiot still arguing with me. But I think I gave him in the end because he wasn't fucking having it. I couldn't be bothered arguing with probably a 12-year-old behind the keyboard. So I'm trying to slow down here to give these bigger boats a chance to fire, because they've probably got bigger guns than me, so they've got longer range. But every time I slow down, somebody else slows down and stops, so it's really hard. So I'm trying to get into a position where I can tuck in behind some of these guys, because I have a fairly good range on these cannons. Now, when you get to these bigger boats, you can actually adjust what cannons you have on. Well, you can with the smaller ones as well, but the cannon range isn't that brilliant. So, it's always good to have a look at what you've got, what you want to do in combat, and just adjust your cannon type to that. I was playing around with it, and I think I put some on that was really, really short range, which was no good to me. Not really, really short range, but you know, you can fire as far as these. I like to fire from a bit of a distance, because at the end of the day, I'm only a little ship. And if one of those big ones spots me and lets rip, I'm fucking swimming home. You know what I mean? Them big ships will destroy a little one in no time. So I like to do my fighting from a distance. I usually get pretty good shots. Like I was hitting that guy there from a good distance, so you know that does me rightly. And I'm still trying to tuck myself in, but as you see, there's boats slowing down, there's boats stopping. Instead of everybody going at a set speed, you know, it was a bit of a cluster at the beginning, but it does start sorting itself out later on. So I'll skip a little bit further down the line, and we'll see how it all starts to pan out. Right, so as you see, we're backing a little bit further down the line now, and I'm near the back of the boats, which at the minute is where I want to be, because everybody's firing to the left and they're not paying attention. So I've tried to slow myself down to get at the back end. Now I've had a few hits myself. As you can see by the damage in the top left, one of the boats that was coming up the rear nailed the crap from out of me. Got a few holes in the sails, but it's still at 90%. My sails don't really go down that often. I've had a couple of awesome shots where I've actually taken a mast out on the enemy boats, which looks amazing. You can take, from what I can see, you can take any mast out on the boat, even the one at the front that sticks out. On another match that I had, that's what we're aiming for, the largest ships we're in. So we're all aiming for the masts, and I knocked, see that boat that's in front of me there, it was one like that. I blew his middle mast off, and then another guy to my left blew his front mast off, and we actually destroyed the thing. Now I'm trying to slam on the brakes here, because again he's not paying attention. As you see, he's shooting to his right, so he's not looking to his left. So a top tip for naval action is, whenever you've done your shots and you're fired, zoom out and check around you and see what's going on. Situational awareness is extremely high in this game. It's really needed. So A, you're not running into anybody on your team, and B, you're not getting snuck up on by another enemy ship that's like twice your size or even smaller. So I've noticed some of the little ones, even when I was in my smaller ones, like not the yachts so much, but you know, the next one's up, are quite they can be annoying. They do a lot of damage whenever they get close to you and all around hit, and they reload pretty quick. So you want to watch out for those little ships. They are there to bug you, and it's quite cool. So as you see, they're trying to range the boat, and I reckon something like that will probably get through his sails at least. But because I've stopped, I couldn't really see because of the smoke from the cannons. So now that that threat's moved on, I start rolling again. And as you can see, we're all fairly spread out now. We're all over the place. The spyglass is actually handy, because if you can't see the names, you can zoom in and see what flag is on the ship, and then you can take pot shots at that one, which I was doing quite regularly in this because there's that many boats around. Obviously the names only show up from a certain distance, and I can shoot further than the distance that the names show up, so I was trying to look. Now, I'm having loads of fun in this game so far. Even if you lose, it's still a lot of fun. And I was looking on the forums the other day, and they're tinkering with the damage states. So, you know, the top, if you get damage near the top of the boat, that's going to crew cannons and whatnot. Then if you get it in the middle, you know, you may get leaks, but only if the water actually comes up to there. And then if there's a good volume of that boat level. And then if you get shots, you know, near the keel of the boat, you'll start leaking when it's straight, but you can only get damage like that whenever the boat's leaning over in the wind and stuff like that, so that's pretty cool. So tactics are going to start coming into when you hit the boat, where you hit the boat. They're also looking at fire damage now on the ships, which looks really cool. So if your kegs get hit and explode, they're looking at how the fire damage is going to affect the boat, how you're going to put it out, and things like that to make it a bit more, you know, exciting to do stuff like that. So that's going to look really good. And they posted some pictures of a fire on one of the larger ships. I can't remember what it was now, Constellation or higher. I think it was a Constellation. It was one of the higher boats. The fires look really, really cool. It'd be nice to see what they look like actually, you know, animated and stuff like that. And that'll probably look cool on the battlefield. Whenever you're cruising around this and you see a boat on fire, that's going to look really, really cool. So I'm looking forward to the future updates in this game. I'm looking forward to see. I'm looking forward to see what else comes up. These battles are cool, and I like the large battles. 10 plus on each side is really, really fun. I'm looking forward to what the PvE stuff is going to be. Whether it's, you see the list there, there's a few dead. Because everybody's actually coordinating. You know, everybody fire this guy, we fire this guy, so it's good coordination you need to win some of these. But yeah, PvE is going to be fun, you know, where you can sail around. I don't know how much of a map you're going to have. How big the world is going to be, and what's going to be in it. But I'm looking forward to finding out more information on that, and also seeing what we can do, what we can discover, whether they're going to be trade routes, pirating and whatnot. It's going to be cool. But whether it be online or a single player will be even more interesting. Like an MMO sort of thing, but with boats, that could be quite cool. But again, I'll do more videos on this and keep updated to see what's going on with the game. I did do some terrible shots, and sometimes I was a bit impatient. You know, I think I'd get one shot on and I'd just fire a lot, or I'd get a shot on and I'd move my mouse by accident and freaking miss when I fire them all. All the shots just don't go where I expect them to go, just due to the angle I'm pointing at. Sometimes I didn't have them broadside on properly, and they'd be all over the flipping place. You know, one shot would hit, but the rest of the cannonballs would be all over the gaff. Now, I didn't even see what that one was. So the final one was just a bit low, so I lifted up and then just let it rip. See some hit, some went past. So we'll flick on a bit further into the fight and we'll see what's going on. So here we are, a bit further down the fight. And this little guy here, I'll give it to him, he's got balls of steel and he was tenacious. He was going back and forward, he took a fair few chunks out of me. I think he actually sank one of the large boats at one point because he just wasn't giving him. I was determined to take him out, and I must admit, the amount of rounds I got on him, that little guy lasted a long time, so fair play to him. But that's what I mean by the little boats can be a real pain. People tend to ignore them, and you know, if they keep pounding you, they can do a lot of damage. I took out a lot of larger ships with one of those little boats, and you know, they'll harass you and harass you and harass you until they eventually sink you. Like, as you see, we're well spread out now, and we're all aiming at one of the larger ships there that's just sinking, as you can see in the distance. So there's me trying to find out who's who. That little guy's harassing one of our friendly boats to the right there, and I think he sinks him eventually. Like you see on the bottom left, I have took a little bit of water on. That's from one of our larger ships. He nailed me with quite a few good shots. Well, there's an example there. Look, I thought I was lined up, as you see there, but the cannons couldn't twist that far. So you need to watch for that whenever you're trying to line ships up. Especially smaller ones, make sure you're full on broadside or a little over. You know, so the stern, is it? The arse end of it, I think. the Bowser front. I can't remember. But I did this quite regular as well. I cocked up with the wind, so it ended up blowing towards me, which is a real pain in the ass to get sorted. I did that way too many times, like, just ended up stopping and doing it. And I think he actually rolls around and lays a few rounds on me. I'm trying to swing it around, some of the other guns are going. And that large fella there firing all his rounds just misses me. But in this fight I did that way too many times, you know. Balls up where the wind was coming from and end up stopping. But I've more or less figured out how to get it spanned around quicker now. But it is a real pain in the nuts. I think at one point, I can't remember if it was this one or another one, I actually typed to one of the guys and say, here, nail the wee guy there. Because he was harassing the hell out of some of the bolts and he was doing a lot of damage. Flare play to this little guy, he takes a lot of damage and he just keeps on ticking. Every now and again you'll see I end up looking straight down on the ship, and for some reason my mouse kept appearing on the other screen, so whenever I clicked something to turn around or whatnot, it would tab me out, so that's what I had to do. It was a real pain. Don't know why I started doing it. I think it might be because I had to tab out to start recording. So as soon as I get one shot on there, I'll let rip with them all. No, he has to water on, because you can see his hull is a lot lower in the water. And there he goes down. I think that was actually the one kill that I got in this fight. But well played, the little guy. He fought and fought and fought, and I think he got a kill himself. One of the larger ships. I think it was one my size, and this one down he got. So fair play to him, man. Balls of steel. Excellent seamanship. But I had to show that and give a shout out to that little guy. I think I tapped in there, like, kind of little dude, well sailed. Now, the only thing I don't like about tapping is when you press enter, it keeps your cursor in there, so you have to like right click or left click or something to get you out of the text. Bit of a pain in the ass when you're trying to do things quickly, you know, tell someone to shift and then, or tell someone to watch out and trying to fight at the same time. So I'm hoping to change that. It's just a case of mopping up the final large ships that are left. There's a lot of wee ones left. And there I am, tabbed out again. So I was trying to get back in quick because this big dude was coming at me. I'm trying to get out of this guy's way, but the wind was wasn't playing ball. I think once or twice we ended up getting really close because we were both trying to aim for the same ships. And he wasn't one for freaking turning to the right a bit more. But we managed to keep out of his way. There's a few close calls at one point, but I haven't hit anybody yet. Look at me. Well, I haven't hit any of my own team. I've rammed one enemy ship at one point. Never in one of these big ones that are built for it. It was in the small one. And we both sank at the same time, but so yeah, I'm trying to aim for these guys, so I end up turning back into his freaking path again, but impatient, just let it. And they all just go through and knack themselves. So we'll skip further on and get near the end. So this video doesn't take too long. And just show you the end outcome of how many bolts were left. And by the time this massive battle is finished through the entire 50, well, an hour I think we go for it. So here we are, near the end of the battle and at the edge of the playing field. I don't know how large these playing areas are. I think they're fairly big. there's a few of us left. I was trying to nail this guy because I could see he was going down. And I think that's the first ship I've ever hit with my tail guns, because they don't fire very far. Well, I've got this big guy here giving me a hand, so I'm trying to spin it around to get my guns on, because I know this dude is going down. As you can see by his damage there, he's nothing left of the arse on the starboard side, right hand side. And by the looks of it, he's taking a water because he's really deep. You know, his hull's really low in the water, so he must be taking on water. So I'm trying to get to a position where I can put more holes in him and hopefully knock out maybe some more cannons, or just harass the shit out of him. So we get a good couple of shots on him there, point blank. He's just spinning around, and I think in a minute he goes down. Some of the larger ships can take some pounding, like, you know, it's really thick. There we go, all sails up, he's going down. They've got really thick wood hulls, like, so they can take some pounding. But the largest of the ships, you know, the ones with like 3 decks on, they can take a hell of a lot of pounding. I think I deemed that was close enough, so I took a shot just to see if the spread would hit. As you see, he was a jammy getting over to me right. So I'm not too bad now, I've got ships either side to fire at. Again, that was just me being impatient, but I did nail him on the top of the deck there, so we're alright. I haven't used grape shot yet. I don't know if that actually works properly yet, because that does take out crewmen. I also haven't really used the chain that much either. You know, we are losing 1 or 2, but we're still getting the odd shot in. He looks like he's going for a ramming manoeuvre. I can hear the bell going, so I'm wondering who's coming at me, but I couldn't see anybody. You see the time's ticking down there. We've got what? 3, 4 boats apiece still. So I reckon this fight could have gone for at least another 20 minutes, maybe? Half an hour? But most of us are trying to get back into the fight. There you go, fight over. So let's see what was left. So hopefully I've got it on. Yes, there's my damage. So I think there was about 3 or 4 boats apiece left there. That was a lot of boats. But it was a great fight. I hope you enjoyed it, guys. And don't forget to follow me on Twitter, follow me on Facebook. The message will be up at the end. And thanks for watching.